Forgot to lower my headphones. I was quick too. Welcome everyone to tonight's Wednesday night live show. Tonight's topic is Jim McDonald's article in Vaping 360. Link to the article is in the header if you guys want to go find that. You should be reading it anyway. You should already be reading this stuff. The link's in the header. Ohio legislators sneak flavor ban into must pass bill. I was suppressed reading that article. I don't know. Right. You get that. You get, it's a Goliath versus David versus Goliath thing. And you hope, that Bible story can come to play for us. But it's just like you see moves like this and it's funny because that move, reading that, started making me see other moves in other industries on things that other big corporations were trying to wipe out. And it didn't bother me at that time because it wasn't something that, I had any interest in. But now I'm looking at all these things and it's just like, I wanted to ask you guys before we start the show, Allison, I'm going to start with you. Do you feel like they're just kind of picking us apart, city from city, state from state?
Yeah, they are. So there's been a similar bill, most of them supported by RJR, some of them also supported by Altria, which are very similar. One of them was wanting to get rid of disposables, and the other is to get like a PMTA registry. So that way you can register with the state. So you're easy to find if you don't have an approved PMTA. And they're just doing everything they can to get everybody else's products off the market because they think that that's going to boost their products, which we all know is not true. I mean, we see how the black market's working. That's not the case. So I think that, but they're trying it and they're not winning any friends in the harm reduction, sector, because we're all like, well, if you really care about harm reduction, I say harm reduction for all, whatever it is that you use that works, big tobacco made, Chinese made, small shop made. If it helps you quit smoking, then it's essential. So who cares? They are clearly not all about harm reduction. They're just all about profit.
Yeah. How about you, Tim? We talked about this before, but we've been around a while, you and I, Tim, or you and me, however you're supposed to say it. Do you remember anything else going through something like this?
Outside of vaping?
Yeah, outside of vaping. We talked about it. I still can't kind of picture something else that we've.
If I had to give some kind of a parallel, I would just say that it would be the hemp and the THC world, as they went through all of their internal battles with, and again, they were dealing with similar leviathans, right? They had state laws that, certain states wanted to be more liberal and welcome it in. And say, hey, this is stupid. We're throwing people in jail over getting high and eating a bag of Doritos, and then you got the federal government, or being paranoid and looking out your window, and then you got the federal government, fighting against it as well. And so, that would be my only relative thing that I could certainly say in the consumer world, where it's something that people want to partake in. When you look around you at the landscape and you're like, well, what about drinking? Well, what about this? Well, what about all these other things that inevitably could have some impact on you from a chemical perspective? Alcohol can have massive negative impacts in a lot of different ways. And then there's the social side of it too. So no, there's nothing comparable. And right now, because we're under such a microscope, you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders.
Yeah. Well, we are going to start our show, and we are going to say hello to Tim, and Tim is going to let us know if his nemesis was taken care of this week.
I feel I want to just call him Wyatt Earpet. I feel like Lil Wyatt. He hadn't been around lately. I have not seen.
No,
I try not to.
Tim, maybe he saw you got a fucking Amazon package.
Well, you know, it's
He's
funny.
plotting. He's plotting.
I think he's like a sleeper cell now, and he's just back at home in his 5-year-old, not cardboard, his 5-year-old blanket and chair fortress, and he's plotting and scheming to definitely take me down at some point. So I don't want to have a sense of false security. I don't want to think that I have averted the little whippersnapper, but I think he'll come back and try to get me good right before the end of the summer.
Does he have access to the cameras? Does the neighborhood?
I have access to the camera.
All the families don't, right? It's just you.
Oh no. I mean,
I could see him just plotting on his laptop. Okay, he's leaving his house.
Well, it wouldn't shock me in today's day and age if a kid at 5 years old knows how to fully operate a complete security DVR system. Yeah. No, the parents know. But the funny story to that was well, I find it funny because, I should probably seen it as a little offensive, but, when we announced to the community that we were going to start putting cameras in down at the swimming pool, like all these parents went ballistic and they just had all these reservations because they thought that if you gave access to the HOA board, the people that you elected now, people that you came to the meeting and said, I like you, and you, when they heard we were going to have cameras at the pool, they all lost their shit. Because they thought that we were just a bunch of pedophiles that were going to sit at home and watch their kids on the cameras all day. Oh, my child, it's at the pool. And I'm like, look, lady, the only reason that the camera's there is because if there is an incident at the pool, we want to be able to view it back and review for reasonable purposes. I don't want to look on the camera all day long at what you're doing at the pool. Yeah. Now, conversely, and I'll shut up after this, I did bust 5 kids down at the pool Monday night smoking weed in the bathroom.
Did you confiscate it?
I didn't know. Look, I don't want confrontation. I don't trust that environment going down into a confined space with people, 5 on 1, not to mention. And what am I supposed to do?
Show up with your water gun. That would have been hilarious.
That would have done it. That's certainly. I should have just come around the corner with a weapon and hope and pray that no other weapon was pulled on me in the process.
Hey, Tim, it's hard to smoke weed when it's wet. It's really hard to smoke.
So here's how I defeated it. So, and because I'm a nerd, this is how nerds win. You want to know how nerds win? This is how nerds win. You set up the whole freaking pool like a big old booby trap. So I have nothing but smart lights and switches installed down at the pool so I can control all the lighting. And then I put an alarm system in the pump room that's right on the wall closest to the bathrooms. So at around 9:25, after they had been in there for 15 minutes or something like that with the loud music and all that shit, I shut down all the lights and I turned on that friggin' alarm and I started watching the camera. And one kid backed out of the bathroom, had the joint in his hand. You could see the smoke coming up, and they're all pointing at the camera. They're like, "I'm not taking the risk," and they all just ditched. And they all fucking went. So, nerds win. Nerds win. Nerds. What was that movie? Nerds. Yeah.
Oh, I know what I'm sending you next. Allie, how's your week going?
I hate that I have to follow Tim. It's like my week is so friggin' boring compared to his. Like, really? So,
you and me both, sister.
Man. So yeah, I've been working. That's pretty much it. My son had his senior pictures, so that was soul crushing for me. I'm not handling this last year very well. I'll be honest.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
You saw the senior picture?
We haven't gotten the proofs yet, no.
But you what was behind him and all that stuff. Would you be able to look at that picture 25 years from now and know what decade it was, like people can with people that took pictures in the 80s?
Probably not, because he's just wearing a white button-down shirt.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's really obvious, I mean, his hair's is a little bit more decent than it was. He let me cut it. So oh God, he's like, don't cut the front. I'm like, okay, I get it. If your face isn't covered, it's not okay.
It's funny because every time I show a picture, everyone knows, oh, wicker chair. That's the 80s.
Yeah. Windbreaker. That's
Windbreaker.
the 80s.
Oh man. And
why is the wicker chair the 80s?
Check it out. You'll be surprised. Look at everybody's 80s senior pictures. They're sitting in a wicker chair, or there's some sort of wicker somewhere in that photo. Boy, there's wicker.
I was the 90s, so I had the rose over the shoulder. Like,
every rose.
I didn't have to do any of that stuff.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Oh man. This move by RJ Reynolds basically, to me, is kind of, and I could be wrong. It like I said, it's like giving everybody a big middle finger to everyone, and it's scary because it's this. Let's be honest. I looked it up, and this is almost $1 trillion industry. I didn't think it was. I thought it was high, but I didn't realize on whole it's $941 billion industry. And so to me, it's just like when you see stuff like, it's hard to beat, but
their lobbyists are insane.
Yeah, but they're not even worried. And like somebody brought up the pharmaceutical company today, and I said, yeah, but they have not yet put their name out there. They haven't put Pfizer is fighting this or Johnson & Johnson's fight. RJ just doesn't fucking care. Yeah. They're like, yeah, we did that. Stroke of midnight, we came in and we, this is what we did. So it's just, they've gotten arrogant. It's just like, I think they've gotten to that point where they're just saying, like I said, so what? What are you going to do?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, you would think
no one's going to buy that fucking thing anyway. Sorry.
Good, Tim.
Well, what I was saying, if the pharmaceutical company was to step into the ring, you probably wouldn't, you'd probably see it subtly at first. I'm thinking you'd probably see it along the way of trying to peddle smoking cessation medications, right? Like Wellbutrin or something to that effect. We've all heard the horror stories around Chantix, and I think that they probably would avoid that one like the Black Plague, just because of all the negative connotations that it has around it. But that doesn't mean it's the only one.
Yeah.
And so I would think if the pharmaceutical companies, because really they don't stand to lose too much, right? So it's kind of hand in hand. So if big tobacco stays in the ring and they fight hand and tooth, even if they want to lob their soft grenades with, harm reduction with some of their products that they might want to put out, ultimately they really want to keep the cash cow in play. And if they win and they keep the cash cow with cigarettes in play, then the pharmaceutical companies win at that point, right? Because they get their back scratched by keeping cigarettes around. Now, if the cigarette companies want to make a larger push, I think, to harm reduction in the form of vaping products or nicotine related products, then I think you'll probably see the pharmaceutical companies step in more and say, hey, here's another way to get you off of, the need to smoke. And that's this shitty drug that we're going to sell you for an absorbent amount of money.
Yeah. To me, it just seems like they're just kind of sitting back. And I think, like you're saying, they're at the end. I think they're literally just sitting back waiting to see who kills who or who ruins who, and just kind of step in with that mysterious product that you're talking about and just say, hey, we got this.
Well, pharmaceutical companies too do it on they do it in a sneaky way, because like Johnson & Johnson makes Nicorette, right?
Yeah.
Well, they give millions of dollars to NPR to cover public health.
Yeah.
And like Bloomberg pays Stat News to cover, public health and commercial determinants of health. So I think like they do it on the sly, so their name isn't ever on it, but they're still active.
Yeah. It's that. What do they call that? It's the it's a stock term, like the corporation shell company. They're the shell companies that are way down the list, and you have to go through 25 companies before you see Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer. Oh no shit, Timmy.
I was wondering when you were going to ask me this question.
Say hello to these amazing people.
I was like, man, don't tell me you're going to forget this shit 2 weeks in a row.
Hey,
everybody, welcome to this week's edition of the Wednesday Night Live Show, and I'm going to go ahead and muscle out. I'm just going to mumble my way to the... I'm not going to mumble. I've spent too many years living under a red pen of my mother, so I'm going to speak with proper enunciation, as most would attempt to do. So Mallory Gates, huh?
I will correct you if you make a mistake.
Look, this will be the first time in history that John ever gets one of my misspoken words right. I think what he'll do is he'll take a word that I said right and he'll say it wrong and try to convince everybody that that's the right way to say it.
Don't forget, I'll Google it first.
I'm sure you probably will. He's got the Scrabble board out. He's got the little map. He's got the Scrabble dictionary. Bought it special edition hardcover from Dalton's books.
Hey, Tim, I'm going paperback on your ass, man.
He read half the fucking thing sitting in the little lobby in one of those green chairs. Just so he was like, this is so good, I just can't get out of the store right now.
Taking it all.
Yeah, exactly. Mallory Gates. Great to see you, Mallory Gates. How you doing? Wait, hold on one second. Oh, John's commenting from another page. I'm like, who's
that was
Friday
my
Night
accident.
DS
That was me
show
bad. That was me
John
bad.
Truncali. I'm like, that's a lot of words to put into a user ID. Pam Spraggins, good to see you. How are you, Pam? Let's keep scrolling. Wow, there are a lot of us. That's Addie Tooney in the house. Great to see you, Addie. Always wonderful to see you. Curtis Clemens sneaking in. Look at that. Curtis snuck in on us. Curtis will be here for a little while. Let's see. We got Steve. Hold on. Mullis. Did I say that right, Steve? If I said that wrong, I apologize. I'm an Easterner. I apparently I've been told I have a Virginia accent. Whatever a Virginia accent is, I have yet to just figure that one out.
Y'all.
Yeah. Well, that's Southern too. Down here in Georgia, everybody says y'all. They all say it. Yeah. I even met a guy from Czechoslovakia living here in Georgia, and the guy had the full-blown drawl. He talked like this. I said, and I was like, really, where are you from, man? And he's like, I'm from Czechoslovakia. And I'm like, bullshit. That little kid that you see come up on TikTok all the time that goes, a bullshit?
A bullshit? A bullshit?
That's exactly how I felt at that moment in time. But you know what? Who am I to question anybody? Last World of JJ. That's an interesting screen name. I have to wonder, there's more to that screen name than Lost World of JJ. There must be a product or a business or a streamer thing going on there. Lost World, if I'm right or wrong, you can tell me openly and honestly. I take constructive criticism. It's quite all right. Let's see. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Janine Timmons, so good to see you, dear. How are you? Always wonderful to see you. And I think that's it. I think we just have a nice warm little crowd tonight.
Did you get Don?
Don Iocco, man, I saw his name and like I just thought of like the first Volkswagen I ever owned in my life, which was a Scirocco. Don Iocco, Scirocco.
I saw that name and I felt like I had to pay somebody. It was just, I just went straight mafia with that name.
You got to come up with his before the show's over, John. You got to come up with his gangster name. Like Don Lefty Iocco. Or something, what I mean? It's got to have some mafia gangster name. Yeah.
I will.
The Iceman.
The ice. No, you don't want to be the Iceman. That one's taken. Yeah, we are talking about Jim's article, and again, it is in the header there, and I couldn't put the whole thing on there because then it's just too hard to read. So vaping360.com, guys. If you go there, you'll see it's right at the top of the website. And let me see if I can present. Can I present? Let's see. Share screen, John.
Do it.
Do it.
Sent away.
Do it. Just do it. Let me get rid of that banner. There we go. There it is. Can you guys see it? Do I need to make it big?
Definitely.
No?
Make it bigger for the older people in the crowd.
You got it. You got it. For you, I go all the way to 150.
I've got it up on my other monitor. I'm okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's as big as I can make it. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna stop. I wanted to try to get a lawyer on here tonight, but we will get somebody on here in a couple of weeks because a lot of this stuff, let's be honest, I don't know anything about. I don't know how that all works. we've seen TV shows where we see state senators or city councilmen kind of running into city hall, with that last minute piece of paper that, and that's how I pictured it when I was reading. I can see this lobby is just running. No, wait, one more thing, and handing them this waiver ban. And like I said in the beginning of the show, it to me, it's just a big middle finger to us. And basically, like I said, just, so what? What are you going to do about it? And we talked about this a couple of years ago, and this was my greatest fear, was their money going up against our money and thinning us out. And that's what they have done. They realized CASA can't keep up. I'm not going to name any other all these groups cannot keep up with what is going on, because they're just spreading it out and making it very difficult for these groups to be in Montana, to be in Colorado, to be in Philadelphia, be in Chicago. And these smaller cities, they're like going after smaller cities quietly. I think personally myself, I think a lot of them are going in quietly and just kind of nipping away like they did in California for a while. We can't get the whole state. Well, let's take LA. Let's take San Francisco. Let's take Bakersfield, and just kind of picking away at it. Allie, I mean, you're in it. I mean, you guys have to be overwhelmed just with what comes in every single day.
Yeah. I mean, getting a preemption bill like we did in South Carolina passed is key, because then you can't do things like that in counties or, cities. Right. It has to be a statewide ban, which is what needs to be done everywhere. It's unfortunately though, it's hard to get it passed. So.
Right. I wouldn't. Yeah, you're right. I don't see that kind of happening in California in the beginning. No. It wasn't going to happen, but, I don't know. What do you want to talk about with this? Because
just to start it out, because we talk about, advocacy in general, and where should we take our fight, right? Because it feels like you're standing in a hallway with 6 elevators, and you press one button, and you're going to get one of the 6, but you kind of like train yourself to like kind of have that sort of like crouchy stance, so you can make sure that you get the right one. So from a government perspective, like when RJ Reynolds comes in and they want to duke it out with the vapor industry, do you feel like they certainly went to try to knock down the pins they could knock down the easiest first, right? The ones that were going to give them the least path of resistance. Hey, let's go to California. Everybody hates straws anyway. Let's go ahead and just take away the vapor products, because they'll think that if we say it's bad, they're going to think everybody ought to never touch it again, right? So they go and they take down the easy ones. But do you feel like if this is the approach they take, so if we're advocates and we need to fight, we need to protect our own territory, right? The federal government's one thing, but the local governments are a totally different one, because they can take us down faster than the federal government. So my question is, can RJ Reynolds easily walk into every state and just basically push them over with money?
They tried here. I mean, they tried in South Carolina as well. They tried everywhere. Every state that I'm aware of, they tried this same thing. I think it was a set plan. They have lobbyists in every single state, and they just said, this is what we're going to try first. And there were different things. Like I said, there was, a flavor ban, and then you have a disposable ban, and then you have a PMTA registry. Yep. So they're hoping that one of those things sticks, because one of those things is going to help them out.
Yep. Right. They're just throwing darts and just seeing what's going to be a bullseye and what's not. It's like I said, it's a lot of money, a lot of power, and it's not just them. Let's be honest. It's not just RJ Reynolds. I'm sure they have some backing from other tobacco companies.
Yeah, Altria too, and I think PMI on a few. But I think the good thing is that who also has a ton of money and great lobbyists is the convenience stores. Yep. And they don't want these products banned. They don't want these products taken out of their gas stations and convenience stores. And so they will a lot of the times be on our side on this kind of stuff. And their lobbyists also have a lot of pull.
Yeah. We joke about it. Not everybody pays attention to what's going on in their cities, but don't you ever get that feeling like, is anybody really paying attention? Not just vapors. You take the vaping part out of it, why is this thing coming in at the last minute? Why is it coming in on this type of bill where it needs to pass? And with the clock running out, all of a sudden you just come in and just throw something else in on this bill. And to me, if I live in Ohio or any other state, I'd be like, okay, how's this benefiting the children? How's this benefiting education? How's this benefiting anything that the city needs? You're focusing on flavors and vapor ban, but what is this benefiting? Why is this important? And why are cigarettes still on the shelf? Why is a cigarette company coming in here and trying to wipe out vaping, but keep their cigarettes on the shelves? That, I mean, as a voter or in whatever city or state you're in, that's how I look at it. I'm like, what's going on?
Well, you're giving them a lot of credit to assume that they're actually reading all of it as well.
I know. And I'm assuming that if I were to look at the Ohio paper this morning, it would say nothing about this vapor ban or flavor ban. It would basically talk about a bill that needs to be passed and maybe some high points. And to them,
yeah, I have family in Ohio that vapes, and they have had no clue.
No clue. What are you going to say, Timmy?
Well, I was going to say, I feel like people will turn the other cheek, because I think for the anti organizations and stuff, they kind of feel like they've got a bit of an easier go of it, just simply because they probably feel like enough information has been disseminated at this point that people who kind of live on the tangent of it or outside the sphere of vaping automatically think that vaping is 10 times worse than smoking already. So for them, it's a little bit of a win, because they're like, well, I don't have to talk about cigarettes necessarily. I mean, I can say that we're going to make these moves down the future line to try to, make it you could say what you want to say, but the point of the matter is it's a little less resistance for them, because they don't, for people who would rather see vaping gone, hey, anybody that wants to come in and get rid of vaping, even the cigarette companies, because vaping's worse than smoking.
Yeah, I mean, even if I wasn't involved in vaping, I would at least do some research. I would be like, okay, why is this happening? Why is RJ Reynolds pushing to get rid of this product? And then, I mean, if any normal consumer or taxpayer or whatever registered voter would actually just do a little bit of digging, they would realize and see what the hell is going on. And it's not just in their city. It's not just in their state. It's nationwide, worldwide. And as a normal person seeing something like this, why is everybody attacking this product? That makes me want to do any digging. I mean, don't you feel like there's still people out there that feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, from a person, it's hard to really say, because we've had enough conversations with people on Twitter who will kind of like throw like the tip of their shoe into the ring to have a conversation in one of our threads, and then the moment we put pressure on them to say, hey, look, why don't you read up on this a little bit? Here's some articles, here's some links, go read other information than what's just shoved down your throat all the time. Well, I don't have time for all that. I don't have time. I'm a busy mother of three, and I can't sit around and read all this stuff. I just know I don't want the kids vaping. Well, neither do we. Yeah. Neither do we. So we already agree right there. So I don't want your kid vaping. I wouldn't want my kids vaping. So let's talk about the other side of the argument. You would think that people would be a little bit more open to being critical thinkers. I just feel like in the social environment that we live in now, everybody is convinced that we're being duped one way or the other. So if you already go into something with a level of
conspiracy,
not conspiracy. I'm just saying you go into it with skepticism. Like, should I really believe what I'm hearing? Like, oh, well, whatever's coming out of that media source is definitely a lie. So they're just, you would think that people would try to break away from those channels and really start doing their own research to see what they couldn't find out on their own.
Yeah. That's exactly what Mallory's exactly right. They're not reading it. And to be honest with you, a few politicians that I met with in South Carolina, I've had some of them straight up tell me, well, so-and-so called me and said, if I vote for this, then they'll vote for this thing that I want.
Yep.
So it's like a trade-off. It has absolutely nothing to do with protecting kids or anything like that. It's, I want this done. So if I sign off on this, then I'll get what I want. And with no regard for
their constituents. I mean, who they represent, and it's just like they can peddle off that as a win to the people that they need to have them to get their ass back in their seat, as whatever, if they're a city councilman, a state a senator, or whatever. Right. But yeah, I know what you're saying, and that kind of pisses me off.
It shocked me because it's disgusting. Like, you're playing with people's lives here. Like, you don't even realize what it is that you're doing. And maybe if you agree to something like that, maybe at least read into a little bit to make sure that you are aware of what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen this law that they're passing through, but I want to know if they have the same clause in theirs that the state of California put in theirs, where they can still order vaping products from outside sources, outside of the state. That makes me laugh, because that to me sends a message to your convenience stores, your vape shops, all these places that, hey, sorry, you're not going to make any revenue off of that now, but these people could still get it from somewhere else. And now we're benefiting that other state with taxes and fees and bullshit like that. And that's what pisses me off. Is, here in California, but what they did is just basically said, fuck you, get out, we're done with you guys. But hey, you know what? Let's send money to Oregon. Let's send money to Arizona. Because that's where it's all coming now. From here, most of the stuff's coming from back east. So another state is making a profit. And what I feel is going to happen is, because he's already done this, Newsom has done this before here in the state of California, is go after internet tax on cigarettes. So eventually we're going to see that, and they're going to blindside everybody that are not going to be prepared for that. And they're going to all of a sudden have an $8,000 bill, because they've ordered, the last 2 years have been ordering stuff, from outside sources to bring in here. Because Bob has talked about this. It was because Big Bob used to be involved in a company called Modesto Tobacco and Candy. And when people were buying cartons of cigarettes outside of California, Newsom went after all those people. Some of these people were ordering for 10 years, and they didn't care. They went after every single one of those people. Some of them had $8,000 worth of back taxes to pay, or go to jail. Ridiculous. Yeah. Ridiculous. Yeah, because I don't know how I would even. I don't think we get to see that, right? Until it passes. Is that how it works, Allie? I mean, I have no idea how those.
I mean, if you click on the link under the bill, you can read it in detail, but I don't see anything about shipping.
Yeah, that's got to be in there.
So it says the purpose of the anti-flavor amendment is to eliminate competition against RJ Reynolds' Views vape products.
Right.
Well, why would anybody want to buy that crap anyway?
Because they think that you will if it's the only thing that's available at the store.
I can tell you, I think it could be me. Ain't gonna be this kid. Yeah.
Can you do a search within a PDF, Allie?
Sometimes it depends on how it's set up. Yeah. Not always.
No, I don't see a tab to search.
Yeah, I don't see the tab either, because I was kind of curious if I could just type in shipping or type in. Dude, how do you even? I mean, let's show everybody. I want to show everybody anyway, because it's just fucking ridiculous. I mean, now I get why you have to go to school. That's all I'm saying. I mean, this is, look at all. Just 5 pages, just the fucking numbers. Just
for what?
This is that bill.
Oh, these are all the amendments.
Yeah, look at this. I mean, that is just fucking insane.
No wonder they don't read it.
They don't.
There's nothing to read.
There's nothing to read.
It's just numbers.
They have an assistant who reads it for them.
All right, we're 8 pages before I actually see some words. So there's some words.
It's like one of those games where like it's nothing but like a page of 5s and there's an S in there and you got to find it.
That is insane. That's page 10. There you go. 11 pages before actually seeing a full sentence.
Well, the nicotine stuff starts on page 31.
31. Okay. Get to 31. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Yeah. I don't see
at the bottom there.
Yeah, I don't see any.
I didn't see anything for shipping either, but
I'm willing to bet that they left that part open, that you can still order flavored e-liquid and it can come from outside the no, I'm sure that's what it is. What do you want to talk about, Allie? This is your department.
Piss me off now. I'm reading.
This is your department. I mean, that's why I wanted a lawyer here tonight. I'm just like, you see these things.
I mean, it's awful when they sneak it into something where it doesn't belong to, especially at the last second, because it kind of, I mean, they did that on purpose, obviously. I mean, there's a reason for that. But I mean,
when they do that, there's nobody.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm all for starting to write our own bills, and that's what we're trying to do in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Why wait for them to screw us over? Why not just write our own bills and try to get things passed in our favor instead of waiting until shit hits the fan?
Hey, we'll agree to some bullshit just so we can get in there. You want to get this in? Well, you sign this. We'll do that.
Well, there's definitely ways, and I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to give anything away. Because
I don't give nothing away.
I was paranoid, but I think that there are ways to create jobs in your own state and make it something that's a lot harder to get rid of if you know how to do that. And so, trying to put together a bill and trying to find, unfortunately, Democrats to support it, because those are the ones that are hard against vaping the most. That's the biggest issue. I mean, with preemption, we had that went back and got rewritten like 4 times before they signed off on it. So, I think it's just trying to get ahead of it, and see what other states are doing and see what's working for them. And I think if some of these things do pass, maybe in the second session, if we can get some headway, that's a good example to follow, especially if you know that your state is kind of like-minded, where they might be open to signing off on something like to protect it.
Yeah, I always wonder how that all worked. I mean, it's just this guy, I joking, but I just picture the guy running at the last minute, slamming the city hall doors open. He's got that one piece of paper, but it makes me wonder, when they come in at the last minute, like that's why I wanted a lawyer here. Is there somebody from the other side or saying, hey, you know what, let me look at that before you add it in there? Or is there some sort of battle before they add this to the bill? Because that part of that bill may affect somebody else's part in that bill. And it just makes me wonder how that whole works. You know what I mean? Like this guy may be trying to get childcare services in through this bill and doesn't want a vaping thing to be introduced to it and hold it up. So I always wonder how that whole process works. Is it literally just a guy coming in at the last second, throwing something down on the table? And is there anybody that's saying, hey, wait a minute, you know what? This is going to make things more difficult for us. This might help up our end of our bargain. It just makes me wonder. I will have to get me a lawyer.
Yeah, we need Greg. Greg, why'd you have to go out to dinner tonight? We needed you to explain all this to us, because I'm not a lawyer, obviously. I mean, I work with a lobbyist and I try to get stuff done, and I definitely put my input in. But I mean, I wish I was a lawyer. That would have been probably smart.
Tim stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So
excuse me.
I've never stayed at a Holiday Inn. I've stayed at a Red Roof Inn. Does that qualify?
Yeah, that makes you smart. God, you could be
or
anything.
Like a Motel 6. Does that count?
Oh no, that's prison, jail, something. Shady shit happens at the 6.
Yeah. So I noticed it said this appropriations bill will also include a provision that would prohibit local governments in Ohio from passing their own tobacco and vaping related restrictions.
So that's like a preemption bill. Yeah, that's like preemption. But I mean, that also means that they can't decide to change that. And that's the point of that. That's the bad thing. When you're implementing something like that where you can't get flavors, and then you're saying no one can change it unless it's on a state level.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, how much stricter could you possibly be beyond what they're already proposing? They claim that's a shelter to prevent the local governments from passing their own rules, which could be stricter than what the state is trying to pass. And
Well,
I'm
they're
looking at
probably
what
thinking of it in the opposite way, where it might be, where there's
Yeah.
some people that are pro vaping or more friendly towards vaping, and they'll say, well, we'll allow, flavors in this town or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And
Okay, I
that
see what
they
you're
can't
saying.
do that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So one county can't just step up and say, "Hey, you know what? We've noticed that there's blah 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 many people vaping
Right.
in our county. We want to keep these vape shops open. They're drawing money. You can't.
Everybody's
You're
gonna
not.
be traveling to that county to get their
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, well, yeah, that was the beef with San Francisco, saying, well, whatever, I'll just go to Oakland or I'll just
Yeah.
go to Palo Alto or I'll just go to Redwood City. These were just 10-minute drives. Well, sorry, San Francisco, an hour drive, which normally would be a 10-minute drive for most of us. But yeah, no, that's the scary part. And I'm sure, I'm willing to bet that they are allowing vape flavored vape to come into the state through UPS or
Right. Not like New
whatever.
York. Right.
Yeah, well, it's not complete. So I was just kind of shopping around and looking at other stuff that was out there in the news, and I saw this one article that happened to be on Allie's page where they were saying that there's a need to increase. They want to implement Tobacco 21. Why there's an urgent need to implement that. And I was curious to learn more about this SINAR amendment. But I was reading some of the numbers here, and they're saying since the inception of SINAR, which obviously is a 21 type, like I guess it feeds them data, but they said that the success rate for purchases underage with Tobacco 21 is down to 10% nationwide. So that
Right.
kind
So
of
just let T21 have some time to work.
Work.
And,
yeah. I mean, as long as you're holding the C stores accountable. I mean, there's always going to be that one shop or that one store that lets stuff sneak out.
Oh, yeah.
You're never going to eradicate it 100% of the time. But if it has a greater reach across the board, now then we could get back into that argument about, well, is that really fair?
Yeah.
Right? Because these were kids that were smoking when they were 18. Now you're gonna move tobacco to 21, removing them for 3 years, and then you're gonna leave this huge gap where these people can't get technically legally either thing.
Yeah.
So they're gonna go to the black market, or they're gonna have friends buy it for them, or they're gonna have something. But I was the 10%. I was actually quite shocked by that they were able to keep it so low. So that I think even further substantiates the fact that it is not really so much of an epidemic going on, because everybody says, well, the kids get them from the C stores.
Yeah.
Well, they were, but I also think, like, I've seen personally a lot more signs in the windows. Like the Spinks gas stations here all have signs now that say we ID for any tobacco product, alcohol product. And they do now for everyone. Like they used to not ID me when I go in and buy beer, and now they do. So I think a lot of places are on their best behavior because they realize that this is a lot of revenue that they could be losing out on if there is such a youth epidemic in the state, that they're the ones that are contributing to it. So I do think that there are some retailers and some, gas stations, convenience stores that are being smart, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I started smoking when I was 15, 16 years old. Like I got what I need. I used to hang out by the deli and ask truck drivers, because there was a truck stop behind the deli, to buy me cigarettes. Like,
what was that, like 6 years ago, Allie?
yeah, right. My mom said, you're going to get murdered with cigarettes. So guess what happened? My mom started buying me cigarettes. She's going to get murdered by a truck driver. So kids are going to find a loophole to get what they want to get regardless. Let's keep the market regulated so we ensure that if they do get their hands on products, that they're at least safe products.
Yeah.
Like that's the smartest thing to do.
Well, I've noticed here in California, because of the way things are going, a lot of the convenience stores are kind of eyeballing the kids when they come in fear of being ripped off now. With this under $900 bullshit, you can go walk home. So what I've noticed is, the clerks are a lot friendly. Like when I'm in there, they're talking, but I can watch them. As soon as the bell rings, ding, they look up, and if they see kids, they don't even focus on you anymore. They're just watching them walk through their store, and I don't see them to me it's nonsense, because it's just like, I know a lot of store owners, and they do. I mean, every single one of them I've been into, hey, let me see your ID. Oh, I don't have an ID. Can I buy one cigarette? Get the fuck out of my store. I had one guy's like, get the fuck out of my store.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember, I think I told this story here, but I remember standing on line when they changed that T21 to T21, and that kid that was 19 that has been buying cigarettes for a year, and he didn't know. He just kind of turned around and looked. There was 7 of us in line waiting. He kind of turned around and looked like we were going to help him out. We're like, nope, sorry, buddy. It sucks.
Yeah, we already paid our dues.
Yeah, meet me outside.
Emails and stuff from people that are 20 that have been vaping for 2 years, and they're like, I don't want to go back to cigarettes, but underage, I know I can get those. And I'm like, look, there's nothing I can do to help you. The law's the law, you know, and as much as I want to help you, because I know you've been shopping with us for 2 years. Unfortunately, I can't do that because this is what they want to do. But in the same respect, you have a lot less 21-year-olds hanging out with 16-year-olds to give them the products. So it does help. And we have seen that too. Like, we used to have 18-year-olds come in and they'd buy like 20 boulders and a bunch of Salt Nick. And I'm like, where are you going with that? Like, where are you really going with that?
Well, start my own shop.
Yeah.
Start my own shop.
Right. Well, he's going to hang out with his friends and probably sell all his friends that are underage some vapes, which, hey, you know, you got to do what you got to do, but kids are stupid. We've all done stupid
Well, that's
shit.
the thing, you know, when they did, you're right. Because I think when they did make that change to T21, I don't think anybody thought, well, what about these guys? What are we going to do to make the transition for them away from cigarettes, whether vaping was there or not?
Yeah.
Was there anything that were going to help those kids that were 18 to 20? Was there anything in place? Like, hey, let's, you know, hey, this is going to be implemented January 1st of whatever year it was. Let's have a sign up that says, hey, if you're you're addicted to nicotine, something. But there was nothing. There was just like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're not 21. Get the fuck out. You're not getting any cigarettes. So,
well, that was the compromise, you know, with that whole thing with Trump when he was in office, when he was talking about banning flavors and everything else. And then he went back and actually looked at stuff, and then he talked to, you know, us, and he realized that that's not what was the best route to take. So instead he implemented T21. And I think refillable pods were taken off the market at that time as well. But I mean, that was the compromise. And also because, you know, he was basically told that, you know, getting rid of all these vape shops and getting rid of flavors would have a huge impact on the economy, which is why the FDA is doing a full flavor ban.
Yeah, but where was Parents versus Vaping? Where was all these groups saying, hey, you know what? We got to do something for these fucking kids. If we're going to take all this away from them, we're so concerned about the kid who's smoking, who's vaping, we need to have something for them to take away that urge, that addiction. Not just
Bloomberg doesn't pay them to say those things. That's why they
know.
say that.
And that's exactly like you said. Now they're looking for other ways to get what they were getting from a legitimate fucking store, and now they're going to the streets. And good for some of them. I'm sorry, I'm going to say this, but good for some of them that are getting it from their parents or whatever. So at least they're not out and about walking the streets trying to get a pack of cigarettes that, who knows? Yeah, maybe it is good tobacco. Maybe it's just shredded bullshit that's in there. You don't know. And now
that's scary anyway, because they can be dipped in fentanyl or whatever.
Anything, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's pretty messed up. Can we talk about the Sonar Amendment though a little bit?
I
was just reading it. So for people in the chat, I'm learning something new tonight.
Can you give me the link, Timmy?
Yeah, sure can. I sure can.
He's good people. Them's good people, Allie. We should keep them.
I try.
I try.
I try.
He just has a 5-year-old nemesis. That's all.
Yeah, that's right. I won't let this little kid beat me. Don't worry.
He won't win.
He won't win.
No, because I'm on the cusp of 55, but I'm 5 here. Okay, so it all works out. Just because the body can't do what the 5-year-old's body can do, and he could probably run faster than me, doesn't mean that I can't take this 5-year-old brain and do something productive with it. So it just says that the Sinar Amendment. I'm going to assume it was named after some legislator. Sinar Amendment, the first federal law requiring states to enact legislation to curb illicit tobacco sales to minors to qualify for federal substance abuse funding. It kind of sounds like another sort of MSA.
Yeah.
Additionally, it has been 5 years since the implementation of Tobacco 21, a federal law that raised the minimum age for purchasing tobacco products to 21. Before Sinar was implemented, nearly 40%, this is where I saw the number, 40% of minors succeeded in purchasing tobacco products from local gas stations or convenience stores. So if I had to throw my hat into the ring and go, why were they so successful at that 40% mark? I'm guessing at 18, a 16-year-old could easily qualify more conveniently as an 18-year-old than, say, a 16-year-old trying to pass for a 21-year-old.
Yeah. They drinking milk, Tim. We didn't drink milk at our age.
No, and you say that, you know, and I mean, I live in a neighborhood that has a fair amount of teenagers, and I'm not being critical of teenagers. I think kids should be able to express themselves any way they see fit. I mean, I was an individual growing up, so, you know, I'm nobody to talk or criticize that. But I mean, like, sometimes you see these kids that are like 8th, 9th, and 10th graders, and you would think that they're already out of like high school and halfway through college. Just, I mean, I don't know if it's if it's just the physically they're bigger or they look stronger or older, or I don't know what that shift in has been. Because I mean, I feel like when we were kids, we looked like kids. You know what I mean? Like, you could tell we were kids. There was maybe 2 or 3 dudes in your high school that could go and buy beer on a Friday night because they had facial hair and they could pass. But everybody else was like, yeah, I can't go in there. There's no way they're going to sell it to me because I look too much like
my mom will ground me.
Right. So it says, before Sinar was implemented, nearly 40% of minors succeeded in purchasing tobacco products from local gas stations and convenience stores. However, after decades of implementation, the average has been significantly reduced down to 10% nationwide.
Yeah.
This success has contributed to the decline in youth smoking. The new challenge is to prevent underage customers from not only smoking, but also accessing novel or nicotine alternative products on the market. So I didn't know this either, right? I'm learning all kinds of shit tonight. I'm going to be a much smarter dude when I get off the show. The history of Sinar provides us with 31 years of compelling data indicating that enforcement at the retail level is exceptionally effective in preventing youth people from obtaining restricted products. Well, you know what? Why can't we come to the table and say, let's focus on stuff like this?
Yep.
If this has such a dramatic, 30% drop,
right?
In how many years was it? In how many years? 5 years? 5 years since it's been implemented?
Yeah.
30% drop? Well, that seems like that might be a bit of your silver bullet right there. And then if you can reduce that down to a standard of 10%, then you can chip away at the other 10% by sending out DEA folks or FDA folks and have them go scope all the friggin' head shops that are breaking the law and selling to underage.
Well, impose big fines. If you actually put a big fine behind that, then that would be a deterrent. That's the whole thing. And like, we have scanning technology where we can scan an ID. It tells you if it's legitimate or not. Not only that, then it creates an account for the customer. So every time they come in, you scan the ID, it's going to pull them up again. That it's really not that insanely expensive to do something like that. We have 16 locations, but we're a small vape shop. Yeah. We implemented that back in 2016 because we got hit one time, I think in 2015 with an underager. And so that was it. We were not going to have that happen again.
Yeah, I mean, if any other business knew, or any other law, anything else knew that 40% of whatever it was doing something in a certain place, That's all the data you need to where to focus your attention to. I mean, 40% is a big number. I remember doing years ago, we did that before. I think it was the T21 thing came into play, but we were talking about the bodegas in New York, and the kids had a 6 to 10 shot of getting cigarettes. 6 to 10 out of every 10 shops, 6 of them were guaranteed they were going to get a pack of cigarettes. And I was just like, there, go put somebody there. Focus on those stores, focus on those convenience stores. These guys don't, these convenience store owners, they don't want to lose their business.
Right.
There's nothing worse than walking into a liquor store or convenience store and seeing cardboard covering all the alcohol because they got busted. That doesn't look good to them. There are certain people that are going to stop coming into that store because not just because they can't get their alcohol, but because you sold to a minor.
Yeah, and that's a lot of money they're losing as well. So, not only getting hit with a huge fine, but then also being penalized and not being allowed to sell. And that's the biggest thing. Like 3 strikes, you're out. You lose your tobacco license. And that's how it should be for people that are chronic offenders, because that's how you weed that out. Now, obviously, you're never going to stop the problem completely because kids are going to do what kids want to do. But they've already moved on to other stupid ass things they shouldn't be doing. Like they're always doing dumb shit. Like
they're fine
what they do. So just implement the law, and it's illegal. Like it is illegal. So instead of focusing on us or the flavors or whatever it is, focus on the actual point that shit's illegal and they shouldn't be doing it, and there should be consequences for what goes on. Fines.
You have to place, for instance, this is what I've always said. You should get that hefty fine. Okay, if I'm selling to a minor, I should lose my driver's license. I shouldn't have to do it 3 times to lose my fucking driver's license. I should have learned my lesson the first time, and I should lose my license for a year. 2, the shop should get fucking fined up the ass, or the convenience store. 3, it should be public record. That should be public record automatically. When you walk into that store, they should have a sign. Hey, we fucked up. We sold to a minor. That should be in the newspaper. It should be everywhere. So now you put it on the shop owner. Is it worth selling a $10 pack of cigarettes to some fucking 16-year-old kid? I guarantee you, if all those things were implemented, there is no way any shop owner is going to take that chance. There isn't. There's no way. Not for whatever the price margin is for a pack of cigarettes. It's nothing.
No, that's their livelihood. So Allison, because of Sinar's amendment, is that how you guys came into possession of the ID scanning technology?
No, we started doing it in 2016 because we got mystery shopped by the FDA, and we got a warning letter. Somebody didn't check an ID, or the ID was fake. That's what it was. And so my boss was like, well, this can't happen. I don't want to be on any FDA list. Like, we need to fix this problem. And so we implemented a, trace verify system, which links to the POS, and then you just scan the ID and it auto populates everything. And I even did for my PMTA submission, I scanned my ID and showed what happens when I scan my ID. And then I scanned my son's ID and what happens because he had an ID because we went on a cruise. So he needed an ID. And I scanned his, and it came up with a big X, and it said this person is not older than 18 at the time, and do not sell. And the thing is too, you can't make a sale if you don't have that. Right. And there's ways to do that in the actual POS system where you can lock it out so somebody can't make a sale unless they're actually scanning a valid ID.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is it? Oh, I'm sorry, but is it still the shop's responsibility? Can that shop take that ID from that person?
We've never confiscated an ID. We just refused the sale, and then we put it in our group chat to let the other locations know to look out for this person that they just came in and tried to purchase and that they were underage. We give the name, because obviously if we scan the ID, we still have the name captured. So we can let them know, this person came in, this person is underage.
I can see the vape shop swarm.
Well, because we have locations like within 15 minutes of each other. Sometimes that does happen. Well, they'll just go, I'll just go up the street and go get it over there.
Yeah. Bitches. Well, I was just, because they said additionally, Sinar's implementation has introduced technological solutions that can be easily applied to other tobacco and nicotine products that concern parents and health professionals. Improved ID scanning technology has been developed, aiding retail compliance and reducing successful purchases by underage customers. This technology can be extended to cover the novel products on the market, avoiding issues caused by flavor bans such as black markets, retailer confusion, overcompliance, and a significant reduction in revenue.
I mean, the technology's been around for a while. I mean, the gas stations have had access to it for alcohol and liquor stores and stuff like that.
Nightclubs use it all the time. I remember nightclubs scanning ID. I was like, I handed it to someone, was like, really? Look at me.
Well, I mean, that's the law. That's their law. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think in some places you go into the stores now and it says like we ID up to like 35 or 40.
Well, that's the FDA's suggestion. If you go on the FDA's like tips and stuff like that, which we have printed out in every store, what to look for, and anybody who looks over the age of 36, you're supposed to ID them. But we ID every single person because we have great employees. I love all of our employees, but
it's a good habit. It's a good habit, right?
Right. I mean, and you never know. They might go, oh, I know this person, so I'll just sell this to them, and not without realizing that they're doing a lot more damage than,
Yeah. Well, I don't seem to understand why more don't bite on that one. They're just saying that federal and state legislators should capitalize on this easy win, broaden the scope of SONAR to cover the entire nicotine delivery category, and prepare to win the retail battle every second of every day by strictly implementing and adhering to Tobacco 21, which, I don't know, from a nerd perspective. I mean, you try to troubleshoot with obvious answers before you have to go and completely reformat your hard drive and reinstall your operating system. And I feel like the federal government and the state governments are trying to reformat the hard drive and reinstall Windows before they've tried some of the other basic troubleshooting measures that could potentially save you from all that work that, is a lot more of a headache than,
they're just throwing the whole fucking computer in the trash. That's what they're doing. They're not even trying to troubleshoot it. And that's the problem, and I think like these things can be done. They're not as expensive as they used to be. As Kyle said earlier, there's apps that you can download on your phone to scan IDs. I mean, it's so easy nowadays to do that stuff, and it's not a crazy cost. But at the end of the day, all of this stuff was included in our PMTA and made no difference.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if I owned a convenience store, fuck yeah, I'm buying one of those damn things because I just want to protect myself. I don't want to run into. But let's be honest,
policy.
People joke. They say, "Oh, it's so much harder to get an ID today than it was 20 years ago." No bullshit. It's just gotten better. They're not getting caught because they are better. There are better IDs. You can scan some of these fucking IDs. They're so good, and back then. You took your older brother's ID, especially if he looked like, just like,
I took my cousin's ID. She lost her driver's license.
Yeah. I mean, these kids today, they're printing out fucking IDs at high school, proper ones that don't say McLovin on them, but, just they're legit freaking IDs.
Right.
And but isn't that even tougher to,
well, they're not getting caught. So, I mean, but if you had that scanner that Allie's talking to, they're going to scan that ID and it probably wouldn't pass.
It won't work. No, it searches the entire database, every state, and pulls up if it's legitimate or not. Even if it's expired, we don't.
But but if you don't have that machine and you look at one of those really well done IDs, you're just going to go, oh, look, you're looking for that date. You're just simply looking for that end date, and then you're like, oh, okay, let's go. I don't know what it is now. What is it? 90.
I'm just saying, aren't driver's licenses almost really difficult to mimic anymore? I mean, I just got my new one from Georgia.
A real ID.
Like
real ID.
I have a real ID. Yeah, it's like it's got like 14 holographic images of me sprinkled all over the friggin'. I'm like, I just once is enough. You know what I mean? I already have to look at this mug in the mirror. I have to look at my driver's license.
Sorry.
A little one over there, and then another one over there, and then they got the double exposure one over there. I'm like, good God, like how many fucking pictures
Tim's the only one
need on a driver's license?
Tim's the only one that makes me snort. Tim's the only one that ever makes me snort when I'm laughing. Tim, you can hold that credit to that right there.
But I think most vape shops would implement this without hesitation if they knew that it was something that would get them approved. I think that everybody just kind of doesn't want to invest any more money in it because they don't know what's going to happen. Every day is a new challenge. It presents itself in this industry, and I think that if there was a way to, say, well, the FDA will go for this, then everybody would do it. But who wants to spend any more money on doing anything when the FDA is not approving anything?
Well, the funny part is there's no fucking talk about the teenager buying the fucking bottle of fucking Jack Daniels. That kid, nobody cares. You want
No.
that fifth of Jack? Fuck yeah, you know. I'm not kidding. This was quite a few. It was quite a few years ago, and I don't want to say where it was, but it wasn't in Modesto. And I noticed when I was standing in line that he was selling liquor to minors, and what he was doing was adding a few dollars to it. And I was just like, you son of a bitch. So if the bottle was $23.99, he was saying the bottle was $27.99 plus the tax. I was like, easy, you know. I go, you're not just breaking the law, but you're ripping off the owner of the fucking store too. I was like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, but nobody talks about that kid that's buying the six pack or the fifth of Jack or none of that stuff. Everybody's just so focused on cigarettes and vaping. And nobody cares. Nobody cares
No,
what's
because
going.
kids will be kids. In that instance, it's okay for kids to be kids and experiment. But it's way less harmful for them to experiment with vaping than it is to experiment with alcohol.
I would rather my kid vape a 30 ml bottle of fucking strawberry vanilla whatever than drink 2 6-packs and then try to get behind the vehicle, behind the car. Yeah. Or even get on their damn bike. I don't care. You want to talk about the go ahead, Tim. No, go ahead. No,
I was going to say, I'm saying alcohol is something that you're never going to be able to eradicate. I mean, it's already too widely and socially accepted, regardless of, like, I got a friend coming into town coming up this weekend, and he's like, hey, where can we go to get a good beer kind of thing, Right. And so I'm like just shoveling him links to all these places and stuff. And I got to this one brewery, and then they had it set up in segments, where you could go see their seasonal beers or their whatever ones. And I'm like, I'm looking at the menu of what they have, and I'm like, this reads like a vaping menu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, it legit. It's like, and then you look at the flavor Bible attached to that particular one, like a really sour IPA with blueberry, raspberry,
and
mango. And I'm like, the hypocrisy is almost insane. Now, will a kid be able to walk into Stillfire Brewery and get a microbrew pour? Probably not. But my point is that you don't see kids like targeting that stuff. If flavors are so important to them, then this would certainly attract them. I mean, you think it's fruit juice, not beer. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing too, Philippe, how the audacity to assume that an adult would like blueberries. Clearly, we don't like blueberries because we are not allowed to vape them. And I swear I get triggered every time I go in a liquor store. I'm like, look at this fucking bottle with sparkles all over it. And I'm like, this one has glitter inside of it. I'm like, who's this for? This glitter lava lamp drink? Like, what?
It's for the ladies.
You're right, Steve. They don't consider teen drinking an epidemic. But if you and I hate to play whataboutism, but I'm just saying, if you could put up the numbers of kids who have gone on drinking binges and ended up in the hospital or had serious outcomes. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but these kids that go off to college and they get into these fraternities and stuff and they get hazed beyond belief. I mean, the last one, apparently the kid said he brought it on himself, but whatever. But I think if they looked at the numbers, there's nothing that could even compare. If you look at the kids who end up with alcoholism at a young age or potentially die from it, you can rack deaths up to excessive drinking. And then you turn around and you look at vaping and you're like, there's no deaths. No kids like got, white around his lips and is fiending out on the street, knocking on car windows to get his fix for vaping and stuff like that. Like, there's no real adverse effect other than maybe some kids getting nick sick or overdoing it a little bit. And I'm not saying that that's good. I'm just apples to oranges here is all. I'm just trying to make the comparison. So it just
I mean, they don't have up-to-date numbers, which I'm getting used to now, Ali.
Right.
Nothing says 2023. It's always like a few years behind, actually. At 2022, a total of 1,093 children were killed in motor vehicle crashes in the U.S. due to drunk driving. So nobody cares about those kids.
That's not an epidemic.
That's not that big
Not at all.
at all. And it says of the total number of fatal crashes, 229 children died in alcoholic related fatalities. So that's on top of, those are just maybe adults that were driving that were drunk and the kids were in the car. So you add that, you're looking at, almost 1,300 a year. And I'm sure that number's skewed a little bit. Yeah, nothing. Oh, wait. Oh, do they have up to date numbers? Oh, look at this by state. Somebody did their homework.
So who's the most drunk state?
The most number of fatalities. Ooh, God, hold on. I don't want to say.
Highest population is.
I don't want to say.
That's your state. It's your state. So it has a little. It's all relative. Yeah, it's all relative to population, right? So if more
wait, time out. No, Tim.
Don't say Georgia.
No. The good old state of Texas, baby, with 1,439. Sorry,
God.
Texas.
That's deaths.
Yep, fatalities. Numbers of fatalities.
Just
California,
to drinking or to one specific thing?
To drinking. Drunk driving.
Just
drunk driving under the age of 20.
Deaths. Okay.
So California 1,069. Good old Texas, big old Texas, 1,439. What was your state? Would you say Georgia? Georgia's coming in at 375, Tim. 375.
Right, so we're low. We're a little bit lower on the scale.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, like, why don't they look at these particular types of things? Now, fine. I don't want to see beer or liquor taken off the market. I think we all enjoy, to go out and drink or have some libations every now and again, but when you put apples to oranges and the amount of urgency that is surrounding vaping can't even hold a candle to that. It can't hold a candle to that.
I got the list now. These are the number of fatalities and the age, and then under 21 of that number. So of the 1,069 fatalities in California, 113 were under 21. And in Texas, New Mexico, Texas, 1,439, 155. So 155 of those 1,400 were under 21. So
under 21.
Under 21.
Because most states can start driving at 16, right?
Yeah.
15 here.
It's 15? We were 15 in 8 months. You could get your learner's permit.
Yeah.
And then you had to be 16 to actually get the license.
Yeah, 15 here, you can get your learner's permit. Which I had to be 16 in New York. So, I let him get it when he was 15, but I made him drive with it for.
But now here in California, you have to have that permit for a year before you can go get your driver's license, unless you turn 18.
I did that anyway. I made him have it for a year just to make sure that he was comfortable behind the wheel, because South Carolina is crazy. Drivers here are really well. I think we're ranked like one of the worst states for drivers. I avoid like 3 accidents every morning on the way to work. It's really bad.
And that learner's permit comes with the stipulation that there must be a licensed driver in the car at all times.
Times. Well, even now under 18, I think you still run into, like, my kids had to be in by 10 o'clock.
Yeah, there's a curfew until he's
unless they were working. If they were working, then they were allowed
to, like band stuff. He can drive home late if he's at school.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the law is here on that.
Second Circuit Court rejects. You want to do that one? Allie, you know about that one? Hold on, let me
bring it up.
I'm bringing it. Bringing it. There it is. All right, does it come up? Can you guys see it? Did we talk about this last week? No. I don't remember. No, we did not. Okay. No. Allie?
All right. So this is just a bunch of bad news. I don't like this thing. So today, the Second Circuit Court of Appeals rejected vape manufacturer and distributor Magellan Technology appeal of an FDA marketing order for Juno brand refill pods. All 12 of the denied products contain non-tobacco flavors.
Is that the same Magellan as Magellan, the GPS people?
I don't think so.
I hope not. That'd be weird.
That would be weird.
I will do my
start popping up on your navigation while you're driving.
Hey, you need to stop and vape. That would be hilarious. You haven't vaped in 32 miles. You must stop and vape now.
So they can seek an en banc review of the case, which they probably will, or they can appeal to the Supreme Court. But following the appeals court decision, the Juno products cannot be sold without risking FDA enforcement. The 3-judge panel decided unanimously against Magellan's claim that the MDO was arbitrary and capricious, and said the FDA followed the Administrative Procedure Act despite changing its standards for authorization after the applications were submitted. Because that makes total sense. So the court also found that requiring manufacturers to compare their flavored vape products against tobacco flavored products for the purpose of promoting smoking cessation is proper under the Tobacco Control Act, and the FDA acted appropriately by not reviewing Magellan's marketing plan, since the agency had already found the company's scientific evidence lacking. They received an MDO in 2021, September 8th, and filed its petition for review in the Second Circuit Court that same month. Oral arguments in the case were held February 2023. Magellan is a parent company of major vape product distributor Demand Vape and also owns Hyde, disposable brand, among others. Several Hyde retailers received FDA warning letters last month citing them for selling unauthorized products. Last October, the FDA issued MDOs for some Hyde products without notifying Magellan first. On the same day, it announced Hyde was named as a favorite product by the large number of National Youth Tobacco Survey participants. Side note, that National Youth Tobacco Survey had like a checkbox of what you use, and Hyde was listed. Not for anything, but if you've used a vape one time in 30 days, you really have no idea. You're just literally picking whatever one looks most familiar to you, which I think is a bunch of bullshit. Because if you're not leaving it blank and allowing somebody to write it in, and if they don't know what they're vaping, then they're not a vapor. Sorry.
They just can't say strawberry, mango.
Right. You have to give a brand. And if they had to do that, I guarantee you that wouldn't be as easy. Most people just call everything a puff bar still. So,
or I could see them all going, it was a jewel. It was a jewel.
Yeah. It was a jewel.
It was a jewel.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a jewel. It's mango too.
They really don't know what they're doing. So, I think we're now basically, he goes into that all eyes are currently on the Fifth Circuit.
You don't have to read the whole thing.
You
got a good gist of what it's about.
Yeah. So we're hoping still, obviously, that Triton wins. The more wins we have, the better, because the more of a chance we have of going up to the Supreme Court because of a split circuit.
Right.
Bastards. And RJ Reynolds is in here, this article too, as well. They're just everywhere. Somebody said to me the other day that RJ Reynolds hasn't been relevant for years. And I'm like, huh?
They are. But I mean, I think too, like what I said, they had in the article with Jim, he had posted, RJ Reynolds had posted something about harm reduction and how important harm reduction is. And I'm like, well, that sounds great, but why are you sending all these cease and desist letters to all these small vape shops, which I think was in Alabama, because Phillip knew one of the shops.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you sending these threatening letters from a lawyer telling these places that they need to stop selling flavored tobacco products, or, threatening, basically enforcement on them? If you really care about harm reduction, that's not really what you should be doing.
Yeah, that's where I get to my point. It's just like, how do people not see that? How do they not put those two things together and realize something fishy is going on here? Their stuff is staying on the market, not just their cigarettes, but their other products that they have that are kind of similar to what we're doing, but those products get to stay and they get flavors.
Yeah.
But our stuff needs to go. And
they nobody's get tobacco flavor.
Yeah, but nobody's. I just find it weird that nobody's putting those together. I mean, I think if Starbucks were to do this to other coffee manufacturers, you would see people be like, what the fuck's going on? Why is Starbucks buying everybody? Why is this happening? Why is Starbucks trying to get rid of Pete's coffee? Why is Starbucks trying to get rid of McDonald's coffee?
Yeah.
It just, nobody's putting the pieces together and realizing, exactly what's going on. And I mean, it's impossible today for the big tobacco to create a monopoly. That's not going to happen anymore. But it almost feels like that's what they're trying to get themselves back to, is trying to get back to being the one and only thing out there that's going to have nicotine in it, to be honest.
Right. Because let's be real, their harm reduction products are not great. They can't compete with something that you can get in a vape shop.
Right.
And so instead of, coming together all as one and supporting each other in harm reduction against what the FDA is doing, they're going to try to fight on their own against the FDA and crush us in the meantime, so people will buy their product more, which is not, it's not harm reduction. That's not the point.
Well, I would argue too that I think even if RJ Reynolds or any of these early candidates to the harm reduction war, or whatever you want to call it, if there's tobacco companies, if those tobacco companies want to put particular products on the market that are catered towards vapors like that, I'd be willing to bet that they, other than maybe Juul, that they're probably not putting enough or putting the right stuff into that mixture, nicotine content majorly, to keep people from wanting to drift back to cigarettes, right? Because there's just not enough there to keep them satisfied. Either the experience itself, the nicotine content in general, they're not going to have, they're going to make it just not as enjoyable enough to make them really want to go back and buy that pack of cigarettes. So I'm not sold on the fact that they're really trying to fight a pure tobacco harm reduction fight.
Well, they're not, but they're more worried about their profits than they are about
bottom line
lives, because harm reduction, everybody here is saying whatever you use that gets you off cigarettes, regardless of who makes it, is good for you. Is good. That's great. Excellent job. And they're like, well, as long as you use ours. And also that leaves nobody with a step down process, because you've got 24 and 50 milligrams. So if somebody's vaping a 3 milligram or 6 milligram like me, I have to turn around and then start using a 50 milligram because it's the only legal for me to buy.
Right.
Yeah, that's the biggest. We talked about that before on the show, is just the step down, and that's what we have. We have that program, and it's been here since day one. You don't have to continue vaping 18. You don't continue to have to vape 20. You wean yourself down. I mean, I know some people that are like 0.15. I don't know how they get it, but it's just like they've got it. They just that's all they need.
Mix 0 with 3.
That's what Martha does. She mixes a 0 with a 3 and gets a 1.5, and that's perfectly fine for her. And the only reason she does it is because the 0, she says, doesn't have as much flavor as something that has a little bit of nicotine in it because of the way that it steeps.
Yeah.
So that's why, and she likes the little kick, but it's barely there. I could not even imagine her going to a 50 milligram.
Oh shit, no. She would be like, no. That's why I was just kind of, when the disposables all came out, well, even before the disposables, but like Juul and all that other stuff, I was like, I'm watching the sample box pages. I'm going, what is wrong with you people? I get it. Sometimes you're in certain spots where you're kind of in a bind. You don't want to carry this big damn device. But all of a sudden I just saw Juul. And I was like, well, aren't you at 3? Yeah, I'm at 3 milligrams. Now you got that 50? I said,
well, and it was so deceiving too, because it said 5%. And
that was true.
How many people would come into the shop and be like, "Oh, you were closed yesterday for the holiday, and I had to go to Walgreens and get this." And they're like, "Man, I have a headache, but it's only 5, and I use 6." And I'm like, "Man, that's 50. That's why you have a headache. Like that's why you have a
head hurts." I vaped it just like I vaped my other stuff, and you're like, you just nicked yourself out. You're not going to die, but you nicked yourself out.
Yeah.
I think everybody who got into the pod game when it first started showing up on the market, I mean, even I walked myself into a little too much a couple times, just because you just get used to that low nicotine content. And you're taking these humongous rips all the time, and it doesn't really affect you anyway at all. And then you're like, you got this little thing in your hand and you're sitting on the couch watching the game or whatever, and you're just puff. And you're like, why do I feel like shit all of a sudden? And then you realize what you just done to yourself.
Yep.
So
worse is when I forget that I have my Delta vape in my hand and I'm just puffing away on it. And I'm like, man, I'm really high. What the hell happened?
What the hell happened to me?
Look at the pretty colors.
I'm like, oh shit, this is not my vape I should be using.
I started buying them because I was on a hike and I dropped my good mod, and that thing fell a good 3 stories down the side of a hill. Yes, I went and picked it up. I wasn't going to leave the batteries on the ground and just say fuck it. And it was toast. And I was like, okay, there's $110. So then my next hike, I stopped at the store and I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll just buy this for $20. And if it lasts through the hike, great. If it doesn't, no big deal. If I lose it, no big deal. But that's the only reason I would buy them, and then anytime we went on hikes on the weekends, I would just say, I would leave all my, I'd still take my device with me, but I left it in the car, and I would stop and buy a little disposable so I could get through the hike. And
I bring them to travel because I don't want to travel with my vape stuff. And I also bring them if I go to concerts, because if I get to the front and they want to confiscate it, I don't give a shit if they take a disposable and throw it in the trash. But I'm not going to give them my mod to throw in the trash, which means I have to hike all the way back to wherever the hell I parked to put my vape in the car. So, which never really happens. I haven't had an issue. I've vaped at every concert I've been to recently, and a lot of other people have too. But it's much easier. I have a little peace of mind if I have a disposable on me. I can just toss it.
See, Mike brings something. Michael brings something up because it's just something about 6. I don't know what it is, but it just kind of blows me away that I can go from 3 to 50 or 25, 35. I don't have a problem. But if I go from 3 to 6, 6 just kicks my ass for some reason.
Really?
I can't breathe. I can't fucking inhale it. It's just like, what the fuck is going on with 6?
So I use 6, but I tried to drop down to a 3, and then the vape apocalypse happened, and I was just way too stressed for that. So
I cannot vape 6 because it's so harsh to me for some reason.
Really? For me, I can't seem to. I'm struggling to kind of come down from 6, and where I don't even feel like 6 has all that much impact. I mean, it just sort of feels like everyday life to me, and no different than sitting here drinking a soda or whatever. But like when I needed to restock, I went to this one place that was, relatively cheap, let's just say, and all they had available was 3. Everything, like there were no 6s at all. It was either 0 or 3, and the majority are just 3. So I'm like, it's 3, whatever. I'll just go ahead and get 3. I got a whole bunch of it in here, and I just felt like I was blazing through bottles at 3, and I'm like, this is stupid. I'm like, I'm vaping more because I wasn't ready for such a big jump down from 6 to 3. So I always tend to creep right back up to 6, right back again, and I just can't seem to.
I was buying a 6 and a 3 and mixing them half and half when I was gradually trying to step down to a 3, and that did help me. But then when stress took over, and I was like, and stress hasn't left yet, so I'm still on 6.
It has not left the building. Yeah,
it's only gotten more stressful.
Needless to say, I don't order from that place anymore because I'm like, I don't. I can get it cheaper, but I'm just not. I'm going to blow through it twice as fast.
Well, I felt sorry for a lot of those people there in the beginning when you like you talked about, Tim. You just couldn't find 18. They couldn't find 12. They couldn't find any of that stuff, and just 3. It was just 3 everywhere you went. You went to websites, 3, and then out of stock. They weren't making anything. Someone keep emailing me. I keep getting DMs. Hey, how come you don't do the 6 questions to the host on the show? Both of these two have been in the vapor. They have both answered the silly questions. Have I gotten them to sing? I don't think so. I haven't gotten them to sing. But yes, Tim has been on the show. He was interviewed, and Allie's like one of the first. So I think
she was before me, I think.
Yeah, she was before. So they're out there. There are the 6 questions, and they were even goofier back then. So,
but I don't think I did sing.
Okay, well, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it now. You're gonna do it right now.
We've all sang together, though.
Yeah, we've all sing together. But now that you said that, I didn't get you to sing. So what was Tim's first song he learned all the words to? And can you sing a few bars of it?
Well,
Tim?
I would probably be inclined to say that it was probably something dumb, probably like Itsy Bitsy Spider or something like that. The songs you learn with your parents. But the one that I just cannot get out of my head, and I feel like this should have been the first song that I learned all the words to, was Sherry and Lamb Chop's wonderful rendition of "This Is the Song That Never Ends."
God.
Have you heard that one, John?
No, but you're gonna sing it now.
You're goddamn right. I'm gonna sing it.
It's never gonna get out of my head.
All right. So all right. Just for the record, before the show, I had the Kiss song Christine 16 stuck in my head. So I'm hoping I can get that back after I'm
I'll trade you songs, Tim.
Yeah. All right. So this song is called "The Song That Never Ends," and I always sing it to my friends' kids because it drives them batshit crazy. They're like, "No, stop!" They run away. So it goes a little something like this. This is the song that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends. Some people started singing it not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it forever just because this is the song that never ends. And you guys get the idea, right?
Yes.
So I encourage you to just take those simple lyrics and just walk around your house and sing that, and you will be nothing but loved by the end of the evening. I promise you.
Yeah, I want to change the question to your teen years. I thought that's how I worded it first, but then
Then it was probably like Rock of Ages by
right.
Def
Yeah, that's what
Leppard
I
or
want.
something
That's
like
what I
that.
want. Like that first song. That's why I always said that first song you learned from hearing on the radio, and because that's different. Because all of us are going to have basically the same kid songs, London Bridge, all that stuff. The Kiss song, whatever. But
Can I disclaim the Sean Cassidy and Leif Garrett years?
yeah, I mean that's.
can I
I want you to go back to your teen years, and we all have that one song we heard on the radio for the first time that we had to tape and we had to memorize all the words to, which was difficult back then because we didn't have lyric sheets or Well, Tim and I, we grew up. Remember, we used to have the that little cover inside the album, and a lot of the albums had that sleeve, and it did have the lyrics to all the songs that were on those albums. So I know you guys didn't get that. Well, maybe they did when they had CDs. Didn't they have those in the CDs too, Tim? Didn't they have lyrics
in CDs? Yes, they had. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was more common to start because when CDs were first still kind of like popping onto the market, we really didn't have. Even then, we still didn't have like the Napster market where people were pirating as much and trading music that way. So CDs were still sort of a mechanism, and they would put the booklets in there with all the lyrics and stuff like that. So it gave you that album feel that you weren't getting with a CD.
What was yours, Allie? Was it Jenny?
Oh, you know what it was? I think we're alone now.
Oh no.
It doesn't seem to be anyone around.
That song has been stuck in John's head all week.
A week. That song is stuck. I am the whatever you call it, the little Amazon thing. It's in my room, and I have it to go off in the morning, but it goes off to Pandora's 80s music station. So it's a different. I don't like getting up to that. I want to kind of. It slowly just comes up and starts singing. I hear the music. So that fucking song just stuck. And when I got up and I hit the thing, I was like, Alexa, stop. I sung that song as I'm getting out of bed into the shower. I'm singing, are we? I'm like, no. What was yours, Allie? What was it? Is it Jenny from the Block?
Jenny from the Block.
Shh, I'm trying to
I did like that song.
You
remember
young.
Definitely not it. God, I don't know. I love music, so I listen to so much music. I can't.
What was that one song? That first song? Allie just doesn't want to sing it.
No. I mean,
Tim knows mine. I went to Catholic school, so we didn't have you didn't have music until 5th, 6th grade. And she was the first teacher I had that wasn't a nun. And she was our music teacher, and she handed us music. And the song for me was winter, spring, summer, or fall. So I had to learn all the words to that song. And I still, to this day, that song, I hear that song on YouTube or on the radio. I just kind of it's a kind of special moment because I kind of picture sitting in that classroom in 5th grade at learning that song, and drove my mom nuts. I would sit there singing in the living room, singing it in my room, singing it while I'm sitting on the toilet. So I sung that song everywhere in the house just so I could learn every word to it because we had to sing the song without the sheet in front of us.
Yeah.
So
Rock got a good one. Yellow Submarine. I used to
that one. Sgt. Pepper's. Yeah, that was a great album.
That was good. I think I got trapped. My dad and I got stuck in like the 70s, 80s era, and so it was songs like "Blinded by the Light" by Manfred Mann. Yeah, that one. And I don't know why I had an affinity for that song, Magnet and Steel, like you are the magnet and I am steel. And it had the ooh. And then lastly, I forget the guy's name. I think it was Don something. Don's not Donnie Iris. No, not Alia, but it was the one Thunder Island. You remember that song?
Tim's like the fucking jukebox, man. That's
Hey, out on Thunder Island. It was Don somebody. I can't.
Him and my best friend Bobby are one note. Some songs 1 note, 2 notes, 3 notes. These fuckers are just dishing. Oh, they'll tell you the who sang it, who wrote it, what year it came out. And I'm like, dude, Bobby. And so we tested him. We got him really drunk one night just to see how good it was. And he was even better when he was drunk. He was just blowing him out. I was like, you got it? I can't do that. It's amazing.
My brain is full of lyrics. I swear, I wish it was full of something that was more.
Everyone out there wants to hear Allie sing her song.
No, I'm just saying. So there's this game called Song Quiz on Alexa, and I'm ranked in like the top 10 percentile because I play it every day when I'm making dinner, and you have to name the artist and the song, and you can pick the genre. And I'm like ranked really high because my brain is full of lyrics. I'm like, why couldn't that be like Law Facts or like something that's more
Song Pop too? You've seen Song Pop, right? Have you heard of Song Pop?
Song Pop. Yeah, it's really similar, right? It's the app, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
By the way, it was Jay Ferguson that did Thunder Island.
Jay Ferguson,
yeah. So if you're feeling nostalgic tonight, kids, go out on YouTube, pull up Jay Ferguson Thunder Island, and you'll get to see what kind of a miserable life I lived as a kid.
My mom listened to like Michael Bolton and like all that. Like that's all I heard. That's all. If it was either Spanish music or Michael Bolton.
Yeah, and if you're out there, James Taylor and Carole King, look it up. Great song. It's a great song. I'm not going to sing. Tim will sing it, but I won't sing it.
Is that the one that goes winter, spring summer, and fall? All you have to do is call that one. Okay,
yep. Right. You got a friend. Oh, okay. Let's get back to vaping. But yes, if you guys want to see those interviews, they are on the Zample Box page. I interviewed Tim and Allie, and you can find out. I think Tim, did I have funny pictures of you? I don't think I did that part to you.
I don't know that there. Yeah, you might have pulled up some of the old rocker pictures from the.
Yeah, I think I did. I did. I don't. Allie's got good PR because I couldn't find any of Allie. She has amazing PR or really good friends that never take pictures of her in weird moments. So
all you guys in the chat need to know about my old pictures from the rocker years. I don't look much different than I do now.
You had more reddish hair though.
I did. I had like Axl Rose red kind of hair, but it's not much difference. I'm old. I have to wear glasses now because I can't see shit. But I can take them off for a picture if you want me.
I can take them off.
Can we talk about this amicus?
Yes.
Brief that was filed. I didn't hear about this one. So Keller and Heckman files amicus brief with Supreme Court. Allie, you know about this one?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So Eric Gotting and Azam Chowdhury, partners at Keller and Heckman, Keller and Heckman. Heckman, like what the heck? Heckman filed an amicus brief with the Supreme Court of the United States in support of Avail Vapor's writ of God. Why do you have to throw Latin into a fucking 2023 article? Certiorari, CERTIORARI.
Correct.
Certiorari petitioning the SCOTUS to review the Fourth Circuit's decision to uphold the Food and Drug Administration's marketing denial order of Avail's pre-market tobacco product application for its non-tobacco flavored e-liquid. Non-tobacco flavored. The brief filed on behalf of a group of public health experts is intended to provide relevant scientific background on comparative health impacts of electronic nicotine delivery system products with combustible cigarettes. And the brief argues that the ends are beyond reasonable doubt much safer than cigarettes. So has there been any? They filed this. Has the Supreme Court done anything with this yet?
Hang on, I'm trying to actually find it. No, they didn't. Not yet. Anyway, this is just in support of the case, and it's a 7-point, basically, bullet points of what they recommend they should do. It's really excellent. Clive Bates is one of the authors on it, who wrote a lot of it, and it's really, really good. Let me see if I can find it.
And Don is a paisan. He's made note of it. He is a paisan, Allie.
Yes, I saw that. We recognize our own.
I will share an espresso with you at any time.
God, this is so annoying. Too much stuff. I post too much stuff. I can't find it.
Tell me about it.
So these, I'm frozen. I'm opening an article in my whole.
I made the big mistake, and I clicked on my meme folder, and it took. I have a very fast fucking computer, and it still took about 2 minutes to open all the freaking things that were in there. I was like,
All right, let's see if I can share this in the chat.
Yes, you can.
Cool.
You
like every.
There it is.
All right, I got you. Hold on. Allie, bam, click on that. And then move it over here. And then present. I hate that. I'm presenting. Share. It says share screen now. I'm sorry. Oh, no, it still says present. Take it back. It is called the Supreme Court of the United States of Valley Vapor LLC. That's the one?
Avail, yeah. This is in support of the Avail, yeah. So the summary of the argument is basically that, and it states, since the first electronic cigarettes were commercialized over a decade ago, a tremendous amount of academic research and public policy work has sought to inform decisions made by the U.S. FDA, which is tasked with regulating ENDS at a federal level. No doubt much of this is being driven by the fact that in the United States alone, almost 500,000 adults die annually from smoking combustible cigarettes. The stakes could not be higher. Today, ENDS are the most popular method of quitting traditional cigarettes in this country. Indeed, many researchers and public health experts view ENDS as the key to harm reduction, in which adults who are unable or unwilling to immediately stop using nicotine have access to much safer products. Importantly, a growing body of scientific and behavioral research confirms that ENDS must be front and center of any harm reduction efforts. As discussed in the amicus below, there is a virtual consensus that ENDS pose much less risk to human health than combustible cigarettes. So basically, they're saying the first argument is that ENDS are beyond a reasonable doubt much safer than cigarettes. The second is ENDS help adult smokers quit and can reach many adults who would not otherwise quit smoking. ENDS flavors are important to adults trying to quit smoking. The fourth is youth vaping has declined markedly since 2019, with most youth vaping being infrequent, non-addictive, and temporary. Let's see, and then 6 is
you missed 5.
5 is young people do not generally use the refillable tank devices sold in vape shops, which we know. 6 claims that vaping is a gateway to smoking are based on a misunderstanding of evidence. And the final point is because smoking and vaping are linked, measures like e-liquid flavor bans can cause more smoking or other damaging unintended consequences.
So where does it go from here? So basically the Supreme Court will read over the amicus.
So it's in support of the case that Avail has brought to the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Hey, Don, I got something for you, bud. Anybody that knows who that guy is, they know he's a badass. It was so classy back in the 20s, you know. I was looking at old, I hate to jump, but I was looking at some old videos of like New York and other places in the 20s and the 30s. And it just, not that I want to fucking wear a suit and a hat all fucking day, but it was just seeing guys like walking, they're like going nowhere. So they're all, they were all suited up. Everybody was, I get you. I don't know. It seemed like it was better time, but it wasn't. It wasn't. Hey, do you guys want to talk about the, because I don't think we talked about this one, but the masked man attacking a Texas vape shop with a firebomb. That's insane. Yeah. This happened.
Now, are these pure unadulterated vape shops, or are these just those head shop kind of places? Like
No, this looks like it was a legit vape shop. This is Jim's article, so let me pull it up. And that one kind of, I was like, huh? What? Are they going that crazy over there? Yeah, he said it was over. I'm not accusing anybody, but this may be something that happens a little bit more with shops just being forced to hand and just I'm sorry, I hate you. I'm thinking Italian here, guys, or Sicilian, but yeah, burning their own shop down and making it look like it. But I'm not assuming that's what took place here. But I'm not saying, but yeah, $100,000 worth of vape. It looks like. Oh wait, Tim, you're right. I see bongs up top there, top shelf.
Yeah,
I see bongs up there. Wow, one firebomb did all that damage. That's insane.
Why? Did he say why?
They said it was he has no idea that they didn't think it was. It was. What was the threat?
He said, "All I want to know is why they did this." So.
Yeah, why they did this. He doesn't think it was anything other to do than someone that just didn't like vaping. Let's see.
Just didn't like vaping. They're that mad over vaping that they got to firebomb an entire.
He said, "Take this combustion."
Yes, I will show you fire.
But that's funny that you say that, because I feel like there are times when you come across these every so often individuals that just seem to be really mad that you're a vapor.
Yeah.
Like they're just like they hate you as much as they hate some other ideology that they just don't agree with. Like, like let's just say
extremists.
Yeah, let's just say I was a devout, overt Christian, like street preaching and shit like that. And then people get mad because they're just like, oh, keep that shit, in your own friggin' house. But like you'll get online sometimes on Twitter, and then you run across these people that just have this animus that you're a vapor, like, you stupid motherfucker, And it's like, why are you so mad? I'm not even affecting you or your life. So why are you so pissed off?
What's scary too for that shop owner? I mean, the first thing that's running through your mind when you see two masked guys coming, the last thing you're thinking is a fucking Molotov cocktail. I mean, you're getting ready to be robbed. You know what I mean? You see two guys come in, you're automatically assuming you're open the cash. I could see the owner seeing these guys coming in and going, oh fuck, and just clicking the register open, and then all of a sudden you see someone pull out a friggin' lighter and light a Molotov cocktail. I mean, Jesus, now that's attempted murder. If those guys who were in the shop at the time they walked in there was people in there, that's attempted murder. Isn't it? I mean, that's got to be.
Well, I don't know. It depends on where the DA is with something like that, or what the cops.
It's Texas, so
right.
Yeah.
So I'm good. I watch a lot of ID Network, and you'd think that you'd see people get convicted as accessories to certain crimes, but like, you'll see people getting nothing more than like 20 years for like home invasion. And somebody died in the process. There was a murder involved but they only got tagged with the home invasion.
That happens all the time. I watch a lot of ID Network too.
Yeah. It's addicting.
It says the moment he dropped it, there was fire everywhere. Well, no, hell shit. Yeah.
But here's the good part. E-liquid is not flammable, so you should have just pour e-liquid all over yourself, and just grabbing 30 mil bottles. It should help to create a bit of a barrier between you and the actual flames.
The fire, I can see the fireman going, "Damn, you smell good. What is it, mango?
Is that strawberries?"
Oh, Allie, you're in the business, and someone asked me this, and I thought it was a good question to ask you. Is strawberry still the flavor king in the vape industry?
Yep.
It is still, right? Fuck. Are you
serious? I always
serious?
say when we get a new liquid, which we don't get much anymore, but when we used to get them all the time, I'm like, another strawberry? Like, how many strawberries do we need to have? Like, this is a lot of strawberry, but they all sell really, really well.
That was funny because he's like, ask her if strawberry's still king. And I'm like, dude, fuck, everything was, you had strawberry milk, straight strawberries.
Even some stuff that we carry, just like one thing of this one, like, what is that? The one. We only carry the strawberry. It's the only thing we carry from them, but people love it. We used to have all of them. And now that's the only one we carry because the other ones didn't sell.
It is crazy that it's still that top seller, and it has been forever. I mean,
Forever.
it's hard to even back then. It was even hard to see someone just give a strawberry a bad review.
Mhm.
I would go back. I think Zamblebox still does it. You can still see the ratings of each e-liquid, and strawberry was just king. It didn't matter if it had strawberry and kiwi in it. It had strawberry. It was rated a 4 out of 5. Every single strawberry flavor, and it's
Because you're in
and
the
if you
shop, you're like, this one's like a candy strawberry. This one's like an actual strawberry. Like there's so many.
yeah, you got that one too. Yeah, that's more of a Starburst strawberry, or that one's a legitimate strawberry. Or I love it. This is a ripe strawberry. That's like son of a bitch. Strawberry's a strawberry, man. When I ate a strawberry, it was a strawberry. But you had ripe.
No, some of them
Yeah.
taste super sweet and like candy.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
prefer something that tastes more like an actual strawberry.
Well, I'll tell you, the best strawberry vape was lost from the market, RIP, years ago. I don't know what happened to this company. I feel like they maybe only had one flavor. That was it.
Yeah.
But it was that tie-dye that Zamplebox had for a long time.
Yeah, that was a good strawberry.
And it was a strawberry peach. And it was the most juiciest strawberry peach. And I was like, man, I love strawberry vapes. And then I get other strawberry vapes now, and I'm like, man,
it's not the same. But yeah,
I use strawberry apple watermelon. The Aqua Pure is the one that I've been using for years. I love it. And we have a lot of strawberries we make too in house, and I'm like, no, it's just not the same.
Yeah. Well, you're right. The one's been around for a long time, and they were fucking kings for a long time. And then was it Milkman?
Mm-hmm. The strawberry milk.
Yeah, they were kind of biting into their little territory with the one, but yeah, that was a huge one too. Everybody's like, oh, and then because people would come to the Zamplebox community page and bitch that was out. They'd be like, son of a bitch, I can't even get it in my box. And I'm like, oh, sorry.
Mallory sounds like an anti-mango fan with that comment. Strawberry is not good for me. It tastes like freshly mowed lawn to me, or candied freshly. Do you like mango, Mallory?
Better.
I just can't do guava, and I don't know why they always pair guava with mango. Guava is like tastes and smells like armpit. I don't know why.
I love guava. I've been trying to get.
Let's get you some durian. We'll get you some durian vapes. See what you think then. Yeah.
That one and the passion fruit. I can't do passion fruit. I there's just something about, and dragon fruit. I can't do that one either.
Yeah,
it used to be one of my favorites, but I just can't do it. What was it? The guava. I'm still fighting with the apple cider place here that makes the hard cider. They made the guava one time, and I was like, it was so friggin' good. I would take my jug in to get it filled back up. And I went in a couple last week. I was like, hey, guava, nope. Don't want to fill my thing up. I don't want apple. I don't want strawberry. I want you to bring back that guava and the hard cider, please.
I don't know. At some point, I get lost in all the flavors. Like I used to, for some reason, I had this premonition that like kiwi was a little bit more sour tasting, kind of like a big grape. I don't know why. The first time I ever ate it, I thought that maybe it was underripe, and that's why I thought that it was a little sour.
Yeah.
And now kiwi vapes, they don't do anything for me. Like they just all but one, and that was I think it was a
Kilo.
No, it wasn't Kilo. I think it was Citricity or something like that, and it was like an iced kiwi lime, which I thought, okay, that actually wasn't too bad. I could muscle that one down, but there are just certain ones like guava by itself, passion fruit.
Yeah.
Lychee.
I can't do grape either because it just reminds me of medicine from when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too, Allie. I can't do grape. I'm like, no.
It's funny. That tussin. I can't take that.
Yeah, it's funny, but like I bet, like for me, it was we all had like this one flavor. I remember like there was just I tasted it, and then I just used the shit out of it until we couldn't vape it anymore. And for me, that was pancake. When I tasted pancakes for the first time, it was like cereal again. I was like the cereal vapes. I just vaped that for 8 months straight, just pancake vape. I was looking for it. I would go to the Zamble Box page, pancake, pancake, pancake. Just click on everything that said pancake on it for like
Pancake
8.
Man.
Yeah. Well, the Ghost had the little bottle that looked like a ghost, and
Yes.
their pancake with maple syrup.
Yep.
Oh my god, it was so freaking good.
Yes.
The one flavor I got hooked on real early on was banana bread.
That sounds good.
And
Yeah.
I wish I could remember the name of the company. The first one I
Fried?
bought.
Was it Fried?
No, it wasn't Fried. It was like, oh god, don't make me go back in my old vaping pictures. I got pictures.
Because they had that fried banana,
was
and that
good.
was fucking so good.
And the fried Oreos one too.
Oh, yeah. Come on, vape. I'm waiting for the fair to come because I am one of those guys that has to have everything fried. And the Stanislaus County Fair does a fried cheeseburger, and I cannot wait they take that cheeseburger, everything in there but the lettuce. So there's the meat, bacon, all that stuff. Then they just take it, put it together, and they dip it in this batter, and then they throw it on the fryer, and it's just amazing. Yeah, I will have a heart attack this year, I think. I'm getting to that age where I got to start being careful what fried foods I eat at the fucking state fair.
Don't come to South Carolina, then they'll fry your damn boots.
I'd eat it. I'd eat it too with the right seasoning. I'd eat it too. How about you, Allie? What was you got it? Oh, you got Tim's got it.
I started with pina colada and hazelnut caramel macchiato, but they were two that we used to make.
Yeah.
So it was the one in the middle there.
Oh,
Big Willie's banana
Big
bread.
Willie's.
and that ruckus. Oh, that ruckus stuff was bomb diggity right there. That Gorilla Guts. Yeah. That was amazing stuff. That was like banana and caramel or something like that. So good.
Those are 15 mils, aren't those?
Yeah. Well, no, I think those.
The 5 ponds is a 30.
Yeah, Big Willie's looks like it's 15.
Yeah, those are.
I want to say they're all 30s right there because that's what you could buy. You would buy online. Like
what's the year you posted that? I can't see.
2014.
No, those are 15s.
You think?
Yep. Oh yeah, yeah. There wasn't the 30s didn't come out in glass bottles for I think
a while. Yeah.
Yeah, but look at those labels. Are any of those fucking labels child friendly? Because this is the beginning. If you think about this is at the beginning when they started saying that. It's like, oh, these labels are all child friendly. I'm looking at these labels right now and saying to myself, if I was a kid, none of them would interest me whatsoever.
Nope.
Especially Big Willie's.
Big Willie's.
So the lineup. So this is my dessert era, right? Yeah. So you had Grandmaster on the left. Everyone knows Grandmaster, right? You know what's in that. That's peanut butter with banana cream and so caramel. It's so good. And everything on their site right now, I believe, is 20% off.
20% off.
20% off. They're closing the shop down. Yeah. Then you had Diablo next to that, which was Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And then you had Big Willie's banana bread, self-explanatory. Gorilla Guts was creamy butterscotch with a hint of banana. That's what that one was. That thing would gunk up your coils faster than the Energizer Bunny, but damn, that shit was good. And then lastly, my favorite at that time was Flatline, the one right there, which was mango, pineapple, and Bavarian cream. And then they changed the recipe and it never tasted the same. So
yeah, all those 15 mil bottles, I still have a couple. We talked about that. And I look at those labels and, this is, way before they started throwing out the child friendly bullshit. But you look at those old bottles, there's no insane. Yeah. It just blew me away.
Nothing there
stood out. Yeah. No, none of that stuff. Did.
Everything is 25% off.
25% off. Yep. That's what I'm looking at right now.
And I don't think they go below 60 mil on their smallest bottle. So it's not a bad deal when you consider you're paying $20 for 60 mils.
Yeah.
Get you some Grandmaster.
Get some Grandmaster, and their salted caramel's really good too. Just saying.
I might have to get some Grandmaster for old time's sake.
And you don't have to steep it. No, I'm kidding.
No, but and even if I do, I know what lot number it came from because it came out of that one metal keg or whatever.
in oaked 25-year-old oak barrels. No I'm kidding.
No, they did them, I believe, in little metal barrels, similar to like a brewery, but in metal barrels.
Yeah, it's sad that they're gone. I wish we could get somebody from that place to come on before they go
I did talk to Jay. He said he was going to let me know. He's not.
But are they done? I thought they
here.
Go ahead.
In the U.S.,
yeah, in the U.S. they're done. Yeah, so they could say whatever they want without any restrictions. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Oh,
go ahead,
so are they done, or just not selling online anymore?
No, I think they're done in the U.S.
I'm locking up. So hold on.
They're done in the U.S.
They're done in the U.S.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't order.
Shame.
Oh, maybe. Oh, I don't think you can order overseas and have shipped in here. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
You can, but the shipping is pretty expensive.
Yeah. And their prices are high enough to where it's still one of the best e-liquids out there. So you're still getting a lot of quality, but and there's a lot of sold out. So you guys better hurry up and get one of those label logo t-shirts too, as well, for $15.74. I love that. That makes me laugh when I see totals like that. $15.74, not $75, not $18, not $12, but $11.99. Bastards. Marketing geniuses. Hey guys, we're done. It's the 2-hour mark. We had a great show. Thank you everybody for joining us out there. We have a special guest next week. I can't tell you who it is, but he will be joining. He or she may be joining us next week. And anything else you guys want to throw out there before we head on out of here?
No, but pray for 5-year-olds. Everyone everywhere, pray for the 5-year-olds. Just make sure they get out of this alive.
All right, I'm lost. No, I'm kidding.
I'm talking about the squirt gun.
He's going down with the squirt gun.
I know. Tim, just don't hurt him.
He'll be fine. Don't worry. A little water never hurt anybody.
Make sure he doesn't have like this strategic plan set to when you end up in a wheelchair and he comes back in his 30s and goes, "You remember me?" No, you're Billy. No, Billy. No. All right, guys, we are out of here. Everybody have a great rest of your week. Thank you again for joining us, and we will see everybody next week. Peace out.
Hey, guys.